I always feel like that meme where he's like, I got 4 GCSEs, mate, I ain't daft. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a personal one, and I felt like it was the right time for me to put this out. So results day is soon. I think it's tomorrow when this video goes out for GCSEs. And I basically wanted to talk to you about my GCSE results and why they were so bad. As you can probably see from the title, like, I did not do very well at all. And basically what I've done since my GCSEs and how it's never really stopped me. And I kind of just wanted to talk about that really because I wanted to, I guess, dispel a bit of that negative, toxic study tube culture that, you know, just because we're on this platform talking about, you know, grades or university or how to study, you know, it doesn't mean that we get straight A's all the time. It doesn't mean we've always been brilliant at everything. We have this natural gifted ability of being smart. Like, a lot of us work at it, and I think what I'm about to tell you in my story of education kind of exemplifies that. I haven't always been a good student, but I'm a good student now, and how I guess I've got there, and how my past of not really caring about education, like how that's impacted me. But at the same time, I want this story to offer you, I guess, reassurance that regardless of what results you get, like, it won't stop you in life if you work hard enough. And yeah, I guess that's kind of the takeaway from this video. So basically, it's a bit of background story for me to explain this video in order for you guys to not be like, what? Okay. So basically, I took 4 GCSEs. I did biology, English Lit, English Lang, and maths. And I did this because basically I was at a high school until like midway through year 9, so when I was like 13. I absolutely hated school pretty much from like year 4, 5. I hated school. I was so miserable that I didn't ever want to go. Like, it literally was like depression levels. Like, I hated it, you have no idea. So when I basically got to 13, my mum was like, well, do you just want to homeschool yourself? And I was like, yes. So that's kind of what happened. And I only took 4 GCSEs because at the time that's all you needed to get into college, and my mind was very set on, I hate education, I'm not here for it, I don't ever want to go uni, I'm not bothered, I just want to like get out into the world and do what I want to do, which is, I think, very typical of like that mindset when you're 13. And I thought, I need 4 GCSEs to go on to college and do something that I actually want to do, so I'm only going to take 4, what's the point in doing more than that? That was my mentality at the time, so that's why I only took the 4. And then also, I guess, a little caveat to the story is that, so I then basically took my GCSEs over that year, so I took them a year early, but I also had like my hip, back, leg injury situation going on as well. So arguably that like impacted my grades, but like at the same time it didn't, because my mentality at the time was like, I'm not going to study for them. So even if I didn't have the injury, I probably would have done the same anyway. So that's kind of like the background to my grades. So basically the grades I got. So in English language, I got a B. I got a C in English literature, I got a C in maths, and I think I got a D in biology. So cracking grades all around, right? And to make it even worse, right, I had to resit my maths to get that C 3 times, because first time I was like 1 mark off, second time I was 1 mark off a C, and then third time I was 1 mark off a B, which is a bit hurtful, but whatever, right? But yeah, like, maths was never my strong point. Like, it is more now that I'm older, but like I struggled so much like when I was like 12, 13 with just academia generally, because I just wasn't in the headspace for it. So basically what I'm trying to say is I walked away from school at like 14, 15 with a B, 2 C's and a D. Rocking. I always feel like that meme of I think it's Liam or Noel Gallagher, where he's like, I got 4 GCSEs, mate, I ain't daft. That's me. So basically, yeah, I had those grades, and I've alluded to it obviously slightly, but I had those grades because I hated education at that time. I was very, very fallen out of love with it, you know, just because of my negative school experience and just how like toxic that environment was for me. And I do know like a lot of people probably feel that about school. So then, even though I was homeschooled and I had the freedom to like study how I wanted to do it, I think I was just so like depleted and like depressed at that point. I just wasn't bothered. I just wanted to move on to do something that I wanted to do. So I didn't really do any work. I remember, God, this is a horrible story, but I remember the day before my English, I think it was literature or language exam, literature exam, where you have to read Of Mice and Men, and I read the book the day before the exam. Like, that pretty much sums up my attitude towards education, and I'm not promoting that attitude at all. Like, do not do that. Like, I look back and I'm like, oh, I had such an opportunity to like study how I wanted to study and get the grades that I wanted to get and do really well, and I just didn't. And I not regret it, but I do look back and think that if I can offer any advice to anybody that hasn't done GCSEs yet, it's actually try in them, you know. Like, but yeah, that's kind of why I got those grades. But basically, that's not really the point of this video. The point of this video is for me to say that, yeah, I didn't have good grades at GCSE, but it hasn't stopped me. And I want to now talk about what I have gone on to do with those grades, you know, into my like adult life, and how I've basically been alright, if not better than most people who had straight A's at GCSE. I want this message to not be like a promotion of don't try at your GCSEs, don't bother. I want this to be like, if you try your best, but you still like get C's or you get B's or you don't get the grades that you want to get, trust me, if you work hard enough, it will be okay in the end. Like, it won't matter. As long as you have those key maths and English GCSEs C or above, like, I don't honestly think you'll be inhibited by them. So don't get worked up about it, and like, don't let it knock your confidence or your ability or anything like that. Like, it will be fine. So basically, after I did my GCSEs, so I went to college a year early and I studied music for a year, and then I got distinctions in that, and then I went on to do film at college, to like at a BTEC. And then I ended up getting D star DD, which is like A star AA. So basically my point here is that I literally got a D and retook maths 3 times, but literally like the following year I'm getting like straight distinction, just because I'm in an environment that works for me, and I guess that I wanted to do it. Then obviously I studied law at university. I got 68%, like, woo. I'm still depressed about not getting a first, but whatever. And now I'm going to do a master's at King's College London. My grades have never really stopped me. The only thing people have ever asked me for about GCSEs is, have you got a C in English and maths, which is ding ding, yes I have. Now I'm at uni, like, they don't even ask me about A-levels, they just ask me about uni. So like, it's never really been a big thing. Even with internships and things, like I've literally done so many internships. I wrote a list here to basically prove that, okay, like, you might think, okay, well, you just did law at this one uni, it might be like a niche thing. But like, no, I've done so many internships in so many different fields, and they've never once asked me about my GCSEs other than that English and maths. I've done stuff in film, marketing, banking, corporate finance, law, medicine, teaching, HR, civil service, the police, and in academia. So if I can go and have internships in all of those fields successfully with my 4 GCSEs, then quite frankly, if you work hard enough, nothing really stops you. And I do have to note that I have had those opportunities, and I have got to go to university and such and all of that because I tried well at college and I got distinction stuff there, and I think that kind of like, it made it okay that my GCSEs are bad. That's kind of how I assume people look at it anyway, because they can see like a track record of like 6 years of my college and my uni days of me getting like A's, so they know that that GCSE clear thing was like a blip. I think the only negatives to me having limited GCSEs, there are a few, and I think the main one is that, especially when I got to university, I felt very like inadequate about the fact that other people had studied like 10-12 subjects at GCSE, therefore they had an overview, a foundational basis of those subjects that they knew about. They seemed a bit smarter when they talked about politics and history and geography and whatever, and I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, I dropped all of these subjects in year 9, so I don't really know anything about them, and it made me want to have to overcompensate, which I think in a way, looking back, was almost a good thing, because I overcompensated and therefore tried a lot harder, and then it kind of made me stand out more because I was trying a lot harder despite the grades. But I do have to admit, like, it made me feel inadequate for a long time, thinking that there are so many people out there with like straight 12 A stars, whatever, and I've got like 4 GCSEs, 3 above a C, let's be honest, and on whether that would stop me. But then I think once I realised that actually in the world of work, at a university, they don't care, that it made me become a lot more confident in my abilities, especially when I could see that I'm getting, doing well at college and uni. It made me realise that it wasn't necessarily my ability, it was more my mental attitude towards my GCSEs that was the problem. Yeah, and I guess the only other struggle that I've really had with the GCSEs is like, when I was applying to universities, there were limited ones I could apply to. I remember like Manchester University wanted 4 GCSEs above a C, obviously didn't have that, and like there were a few unis that I was thinking about applying to that I just couldn't. But again, that is law, and at the same time, you know, I got an offer from a Russell Group university. It didn't necessarily like stop me, do you know what I mean, going to a good uni because I had bad GCSE results. I guess to conclude of what I want to say is that try your best at your GCSEs, at your exams, but know that if you don't get the grades that you want on results day, that it's not the end of the world. You know, I kind of failed my GCSEs and it still hasn't stopped me going to 2 Russell Group universities, doing law, which is a very competitive subject, going and doing loads of internships in different areas, and, you know, being successful arguably for my age. And, you know, I've achieved all of that because I've been very hardworking despite those GCSE results. So if you don't do as well as you want on results day, just work hard from that day forth and you'll get where you want to go. Trust me on that. It will be okay. Everything works out in the end. Don't beat yourself up about it and just enjoy the rest of summer and reassess, reevaluate what you want to do as a career, and it'll be okay. So I hope you like this video. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, put them in the comments down below and I will be happy to answer them. I will see you in the next video. I'll see you next week. Bye guys.